All right, here's a video on how to do amortization payments. And this would be like if you buy a house or car and you want to figure out your car payment. This is the formula you would use. So you're looking for the payment, and it'll be a dead giveaway because you are definitely buying a house, a car, a boat, something like that. And so in this case, we want to buy a car valued at this. They want 20% down, interest rate at 4%, and a 5-year loan. So you can multiply by 0.20 if you want to, but 10% would just be moving the decimal once. So that'd be 2,500 times 2. So that's going to be $5,000. So really, if I subtract those two values right there, I have 25,000 for the car, but I'm going to put 5,000 down. So I'm really only going to borrow 20,000. So that's what I'm going to put into the formula, because that's what I'm actually going to borrow. So I'm going to come over here, and P is your principal. I'm going to borrow $20,000. My interest rate is what? Right there, 4%, so that's 0.04. N is where your payments is. Now notice I don't say what the payments are, and that's because the default is monthly. Most of you, if you have a car payment, it's monthly. If you pay a house payment, it's just like rent. You do it every month until you get paid off. So if it doesn't say, the default is 12 months. And then down here we have 1 minus, and then parentheses 1 plus 0.04 all over 12. And then another end bracket, so all of that is over, and then n negative, so don't lose the negative there, and it's n times t. So again, time is always years, which is 5 years. All right, and then I have how often, which is the 12. So I'm going to put an exponent of a negative 60 there. All right, so now you have to figure out if your calculator does order of operations, how it's going to handle this, things like that. So what you want to do is, on a calculator, you'd want to group the numerator, group the denominator, and divide. So you could put an extra parenthesis around that to group the numerator, and then this should be okay down here because it's already grouped, and with order of operations, it would do parentheses, parentheses, exponent. So you should be okay there. If you don't have too fancy of a calculator, what you're probably going to have to do is get an answer to this, get an answer to this, and divide. Again, some calculators might not handle that very well. They might put in scientific notation or something like that. So on my calculator, I'm just going to type in 20,000, and then let's see, times 0.04 divided by 12, and that's my numerator right there. That's everything in the numerator. Hit the divide key, and then do 1 minus another parenthesis by 12, double parenthesis, and is that right? Yep, and then raise that to the negative 60, and then I'm going to hit enter. Right, and I end up getting, what do I get here? I get 368.33, and that is my payment. So that's my payment per month. All right, so for my car, I'm going to have to pay that much per month. Now, I can ask some questions dealing with that. I'm going to scroll down here a little bit. All right, so I could ask a question like, how much are you going to pay for the car? So what does the car really cost? So cost over, well, let me just do this. Let's call it the true cost of the car. All right, so the true cost of the car was, what was the original price? But then we have some interest in there, and then we put a down payment and all sorts of stuff. Now remember, this is only on the money I borrowed, which was the 20,000. All right, so if I take 368.33 times 12 months, right, that's going to go ahead, and this is money per month. Okay, then that's going to get me how much I pay per year. And then now I want to cancel the years. So let's see, how many years is this loan? For 5 years. Okay, so then we get our total money. Now, the other option you could do is just multiply by 60, because do you see the 60 up here? That tells you how many payments you're going to have. So over that 5 years, 12 months, that's 60. So if you wanted to just take this number times 60 payments, that would do the same thing. So let's see, 368.33 times 60. Type it in my calculator. All right, so I get 22,099. All right, and this number, by the way, just round at the very end. So you don't want to round here, otherwise this is going to be too far off. All right, so that's how much I spent on my loan. Now the total cost of the car is this loan, but it's also that $5,000 down payment. So the real cost of this car was that much money right there. If I wanted to figure out how much interest I own on the loan, I can do that as well. When I totaled up all my payments, we got this amount right over there. All right, so if I take the 22,000 and some change, and then if I subtract my loan amount, like how much I actually borrowed, I can tell that I, paid $2,099.80 in interest. So I can look at that as well. All right, I am going to go ahead and make another video on doing the amortization table or the schedule, but this is how you get the payment. Now we're going to move on and kind of look at how this gets paid off on a month-to-month basis.